You guys were 21-point favorites over the weekend against Michigan State at home. What happened?
Why do you have a smile on your face?
I don't.
You know what?
I don't have a smile on my face.
He has a smile on his face. I'm watching the end of that game.
My team stinks.
I'm watching the end of that game during the NFL game day morning meeting Zoom. Kurt Warner is on the call without his camera on. All right?
Oh, I don't like that.
That's weird.
Sometimes sometimes nobody has to know.
What are you doing?
Well,
I don't know. He's traveling in the middle of the night sometimes to get here. I don't begrudge a man with zooming with his camera off. And so, but when Michigan State was making plays, I was hearing Kurt laughing.
Oh, man.
No, not like that's not a Kurt laugh. That's a Larry David laugh. I heard him laughing. Everybody's having fun at Michigan's expense, and I'm kind of sick of it.
Sorry, Rich Eisen.
I'm sick of it. It's tough to watch year in and year out, seeing them not meet expectations, and it's a difficult watch. It's a difficult watch. I was texting friends and direct messaging fellow Michigan Wolverine fans. Like, it's just I'd forgotten about the mix of anxiousness, anxiety, disappointment, anger over Big Ten officiating, which stinks. And when I tweeted about it, it was after Michigan State got called for some cockamamie crackback block. But they overcame it. They got set back, and then they scored a touchdown. Got to play better than the ref's ref. I say that all the time. And then just, mystifying execution. It kills me. This is my quarterback, my first quarterback at Michigan. He's my coach.
What is the fix, though?
I don't know what it is. But, Milton is still young, and a lot of these kids are young, and they're playing in an empty big house in a pandemic.
Which is weird.
I have no idea. So I hang my hat on this again, that, one loss doesn't end it, that they win from here on out. I'm assuming Michigan State will lose another game because, I was waiting for a team that had 7 turnovers against Rutgers the week before to show up, but they made no mistakes. They found the weak spots in the Michigan defense and kept hitting at it and hitting at it and hitting at it. And then waiting for Michigan to implode. They didn't make a mistake in terms of a turnover, which has been a problem in the past. So I just hang my hat on the fact that it's a pandemic season with a bunch of new kids. It's going to take some time. It's a rivalry game. I tip my cap to Michigan State. And then just, sit here and take all the crap.
I wonder if Harbaugh should go.
I get googly eyes, like that googly eyes what emoji of like I'm watching this from Breer, and
right.
And then I go to work and Richard Isico, who produces NFL Game Day Morning, he's a Michigan State guy, so all the tweets coming in that were ragging on me, but also complimenting the show that we put on. It's not anything that's out of the ordinary for a rundown is to put these tweets on the air. One of them they were all hammering at me, and I even said at one point, Mooch, you read it because I'm sick and tired.
Yeah.
You heard that?
I did.
Which is out of character for me. I actually let my anger flash. I couldn't let my professionalism be my shield. Where I'm like, I'm sick and tired of doing my job and getting hosed. You read it, Steve, because it was an Instagram photograph that Brady had to put up. That it was Brady put up of
the hat.
Yeah, of
right.
the Michigan State hat.
Yeah.
So we're all in the same boat. We all believe that Jim is awesome and the right guy for the job, but it does not. And it's the third rail. It's the third rail of Michigan fandom is that Jim Harbaugh is not the right guy to bring Michigan to the prominence. He recruits his head off. The kids are all really talented, and they don't show up in the wrong side of the newspaper, and Ohio State keeps on crushing it, and Michigan keeps losing games like this past week. But it is, like I said, it's week 2. And if Michigan does win out, I have no idea what people in Las Vegas are thinking, that Indiana's installed as a home dog, right? I mean, against Michigan coming in next week. I mean, really? But it does appear to be, an easier task, or it's not a word, but being in somebody's other stadium without the fans going crazy. I mean, Michigan had no problem in Minnesota.
Yeah, it's only a 3-point game.
It's well, whatever. All I'm saying is that Michigan can pull it together, and if they sweep out, then we're just going to be talking about that crazy 1 week where they lost a game that they shouldn't have.
I mean, that's a pretty big if.
What am I supposed to do here, Chris? What am I going to come on here?
No, I just think it's important to be realistic, and that's a problem that Michigan fans have had to deal with. They're not very realistic. You guys think you're going to compete for national championships, and you're not. I mean, Jim's talent evaluation, I think, is suspect, and I think that's fair. It's not as good as Ohio State's. He's not recruiting as good as other teams, even in the Big Ten. And it's unfortunate, and I think it's a hard realization to come to, but maybe Jim's not the guy. He doesn't seem to be a modern offensive coach, which is what it takes to win in college football.
I don't know. I'm seeing I'm not sitting here and thinking the schemes are at fault, which I have in the past. I didn't sit there watching the Michigan State-Michigan game thinking the scheme is off.
Then what happens, though? Why in all these games that you're supposed to win?
Well, I mean, just in terms of this box, okay. I don't want to call anybody out when they're like 18, 19, 20 years old playing a pandemic, and I know that's old school way of looking at it. But there was one particular young man playing cornerback whose birthday it was. And by that, I mean that's the phrase that I was taught by Marshall and Kurt and Sapp, is that when you see a guy on defense that doesn't perform up to snuff or has a certain liability, they keep on giving them birthday punches. And it's his birthday, and it was one of those kids' birthdays. Yeah. And I saw that. And then offensively, Joe Milton has got a lot of,
he's a first-time starter.
Yeah, I mean, he's got to get reps here. These are his first live reps as a starter, and there was not much of a deep ball threat that was going on. And in terms of chunk plays, when they needed to drive down the field because the defense finally broke instead of bending to put them down by 2 scores, Michigan dinked and dunked down the field to the point where the 2-minute drill was like the first time they'd ever done that.
Yeah, the kid threw it 51 times.
So, again, you put it all together, and it just shouldn't be. It shouldn't happen. It's something I can't sit here and say it's pleasant at all.
Yeah, you can't lose that game.
But I'm not going to come on here and demand a change. I mean, and honestly, let's just, even if you want to attempt that.
I don't want to attempt that, but it's fair to ask.
Who is Michigan bringing in? Who? Give me a name. Well, you hear all the same candidates, P.J. Fleck in Minnesota, Matt Campbell, Iowa State. Will Michigan just go ahead and say to one of the all-time greats in their school's history, one of Bo's boys, hey, man, it has not worked out against Ohio State, and against Michigan State, it's way too inconsistent, and we're done here.
Well, that's not going to happen because the problem is they paid Jim way too much money, so the buyout is probably astronomical.
The guy hasn't forgotten how to coach. I honestly don't know what it is. It just doesn't seem to be clicking again. But there's still a lot of Big Ten football left.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mike. You beat everybody down the road.
Too.
You beat everyone down the road.
Yeah.
And then mid-December, here comes Ohio State. And again, Michigan State may not play that way again because Michigan's their Super Bowl every year.
Exactly.
And I know that sounds arrogant.
It's true.
I know it sounds arrogant, especially when, it should be Michigan's Super Bowl too. Does that about cover it? Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.